just on this, like, Kane, you were right. They were unfit and they couldn't run. But what shocked me is the way they're covering the ground. It's not just Harley Reid, it's the fitness of Yeo. Tim Kelly's playing well. Sully Waterman's becoming the player. I didn't see this coming.
No, I didn't see this coming either, Lord. I certainly didn't see this performance last night coming. Yeah. And Brownie, it was kick-started by one man and one man only.
We heard that he was a one-in-a-generation player, and we're seeing it play out in our eyes. They needed somebody, they needed a leader to get behind, and who would have thought a young man coming in his first season could be that for a whole state of football, and a very proud state as well. His aggression, and I reckon it started against Sydney when he tugged his jumper after he kicked that goal, and then he was getting in the face of Sydney players in the middle. He's playing angry that day, and they changed, and I think they got on the back of him and said, we want to go with you. And a young man, have a look at these highlights of what he's doing. This is extraordinary stuff. I don't think since Chris Judd has come into the competition that somebody has had such an impact so early.
Yeah, he's special because the amount of media coverage that he has had before he'd played a game, to be able to cope with that, and Brownie's right, we said at the time, the ability to really bring everyone along with him and the crowd. He's played 6 games. Yeah. Can you imagine what he's going to be like when he's 24?
We turned
25?
19 during the week. He's transformed, as I said before, TJ, not just his club, but I think the state. He's transformed that rivalry. He's transformed his coach's outlook on life. He's transformed Elliot Yeo and others around him, all in the space of 6 games as a 19-year-old, a just turned 19-year-old.
And living in the biggest fishbowl of football, which is WA. Just very quickly, and we will dissect this game in its fullness a little later on the show, but are we seeing enough to suggest that West Coast is very much on track?
Well, they're just the improvement. They just got to be in games because far too often games have been over at half time. So now at least you go, okay, well, this is better. They're in the games. They kicked 7 goals in a row. They've scored 100 points twice in the last 2 weeks. When did we ever see that? They've won multiple games.
So should you be giving credit to the West Coast board and the administration there for not doing what everyone was suggesting they do, and that is sack the coach?
No, it's a bit early for that, TJ. I think what we should be doing is saying this is what you get when you're actually diligent, when you prepare, when you have a full pre-season, when you act like a professional. To see Elliot Yeo back in form like he has after being in the wilderness for so long, they got ahead of themselves. They hadn't prepared themselves. They took liberties. Their standards were poor. Now it looks like their standards are back and everyone's coming along for the ride.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. If you are a West Coast Eagles fan, you'd be waking up thinking it was all just a dream as opposed to a nightmare. But no, this is how it unfolded against the Fremantle Dockers in the Derby, no less.
They're a massive club. I look forward to doing the deep dive on them shortly, TJ, and they have been lost for a while and they are back in the last fortnight in a way I don't think many expected they would. Elliot Yeo, 26 disposals, Tim Kelly, 24, Duggan, 22. Harley Reid was sensational. And we get to the man of the moment, West Coast Eagles' best player and one of the best 20 players, I'd say, in the competition right now, Elliot. So congratulations on your form. And I want to ask you what it's like for you waking up on a Sunday morning, over the last couple of weeks compared to what it's been like the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, it's good to win 2 in a row. It's been a long time since we've done that, and I guess it's just a good reward for effort, really. Felt like early in the season we were pretty close with how we wanted to move the ball, but we're just sort of getting a bit diced going back the other way. And to be honest, it's a great feeling, and it feels like it's sort of clicked a bit now. So the biggest test now would be how well we can continue to be consistent.
Elliot, there's probably been no more talked about club than the West Coast Eagles the last couple of seasons for all the wrong reasons. So your form, it's been sparkling for the first 6 weeks. Tell us how you've returned to the form you're in at the moment.
Yeah, I think it comes down to having a good, hard pre-season. I probably haven't had a full one just due to injury for, I'm going to say 7 to 8 years now. It's been a long time, just through the amount of knocks and injuries that you get throughout every season. It's pretty hard to try and get through a full pre-season without sort of having a little niggle or an injury here or there. So to be able to get all the way through a pre-season with unscathed certainly helps getting through the majority of the season, and hopefully I can continue to play and be consistent and help out as much as I can because we've got such a young list. But definitely starts with having a good, hard pre-season.
Just on that point, Elliot, I was critical of yourself and some of the senior players at the Eagles, perhaps for a lack of standards or professionalism. On reflection, was that criticism harsh or fair?
look, I mean, when you're losing games of football, you're going to open yourself up to all kinds of criticism. So, yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Obviously, internally, we thought that was not the case. There's probably other things going on as well. But, and I guess it probably comes down to our injury list at the moment. It's really healthy. So to be able to have players that aren't sort of under duress a little bit and sort of rush to play, which has been mentioned plenty of times throughout the years, it certainly helps. And there's actually competitiveness for spots, which helps sort of drive success. So it's a good spot to be in at the moment, but we've got to be realistic. Freo had 2 very, very tough games before playing us, and you know, we're on a build as well, and the biggest test for us is how well we can stay consistent with the young list.
Elliot, just back to Kane's point there, do you hear that type of brutal criticism that comes across the Nullarbor over the past couple of years? Because it has been quite consistent. I mean, do you hear it? Do you discuss it at all? Or do you just actually just block it out completely?
Oh, it's pretty hard not to miss. Yeah, the media is pretty much everywhere these days. So, yeah, but as I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I mean, when you play AFL football, you've got to be open to those opinions and those criticisms. So that's just part of the game and part of the job. So I myself just try to block it out, and the best thing that I can do is just try and play football to the best of my ability. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that lately. But now that things are going well, it's certainly been able to sort of help in order to try and change a fair few opinions.
Elliot, you've got a teammate who turned 19 during the week. He's played 6 games of footy. The past 3 have been brilliant. I'm referring obviously to Harley Reid and the impact he had in big moments in that game last night. Can I just ask you just to tell us what it's done to you personally, and through that, the extension of what he's done to the club, the state, the rivalry, everything?
The kid's bigger than Ben Hur over here. He's got a fair bit of swagger, that's for sure, and he backs it up, which is great. But just the energy that he brings with the football to the football club is just huge, and everyone feeds off that. And it's not just him; it's all the younger boys as well. They're all in. It's a good spot to be around, and especially the fact that we've had 2 wins as well on the board. And that reward for effort just helps build that confidence even more. But to have a player like Harley Reid, I'm so glad we've got him, because he's got a fair bit of crap about him, and I love it. So I love lining up with him. I know what I'm going to get, and especially for what a handful of games he's played, he's almost playing like a 150 game player.
Elliot, congratulations on winning the Ross Glendinning medal last night too, Ben Allen medal last night. You were sensational, and you're my best on ground as well, along with Harley Reid, who was second in that award. Waterman, what a return to form it's been. 6 goals last week, 5 goals this week, and Tim Kelly's playing good footy as well.
Elliot, we've got a prize pack for you, which is just absolutely chock-a-block. It's a truckload, and Kane is personally going to deliver that to you and say sorry.
Sure.
So that's making its way over, and good luck next Sunday. It is quite literally coast to coast. You've got Gold Coast at Carrara, so it's just a lazy little nearly 5-hour flight for you. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that even more if you come home with the 4 points. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.